When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching SeptumSin versus the World. I'm SeptumSin, and we're here with another movie review. The first movie review of 2019! Unfortunately, I've had to be home sick, so I might end up coughing a little bit, but I promised this review, and I'm going to do this review, darn it. Evil Bong. Evil Bong coffee clears the throat and the mind. Well, any case, I'm going to be discussing House of Wrathiticus. I was introduced to this by an actor, Kyle Rappaport. I think I've got the name right. I've heard the name enough. I should have had it right. But, Kyle, if you're watching, correct me if I'm messing up your name. But I was first introduced to him through Camp Blood 7, where he plays one of the campers who got killed. So I was able to actually strike up conversations with him, and he told me about House of Wrathiticus. And I said, okay, well, maybe I could do a review for the other channel I do reviews for, which I do reviews for streaming and stuff, and that's Inside Movies Galore. But no, he said there is a physical release. Well, physical release, I've got to do it on this channel. And for those of you who want to stream, it is on Amazon Prime, and you could actually get a physical copy with extras and everything for $10.
I'd buy that for $1.
Well, whenever I get to know somebody and I do a review on their stuff, it kind of fills me with this little sense of dread that I'm not going to like it. A good example, Christmas Cruelty. I really wanted to like this film. I mean, I really, really wanted to like it. I did not care for it. I did the review anyway because that's what I do. I want to keep honest with these reviews. If I stop being honest, then there's no point of you getting these reviews. I'm just shilling for the man. But I did like it as a film overall, for as far as House of Wrathiticus goes. So let's talk about the DVD extras, because that's what we do. So we got the audio commentary, and it's got pretty much everybody together for the commentary, and you have quite a few insights, such as a couple of things I might talk about later on when we talk about the review. The outtakes, so it's a fairly decent-sized outtakes reel. A behind-the-scenes featurette, which is kind of fun. It gives you a little bit more insight about some of the horror and gore scenes, which I have to admit are some of the cooler parts of this short film. Cleaning the gore featurette. Well, you got to clean up afterwards. I mean, and of course the movie trailer. So, let's get started. House of Wrathiticus is about a group of, I think, friends and brothers, or just brothers, I believe. Where, of course, the main one played by Kyle. Then he has the two brothers, Derek and John, played by Doug Godino and Mark Chindimi. I'm terrible with names.
here to perform the Oscar-nominated, gorgeously empowering song, Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen. Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
But they did a fairly good job as well. Carl, played by Kyle there, is a creature effects artist and makes these really cool horror masks, and he is hoping to one day break into the big time. At a garage sale, he ends up coming across this tome and brings it home and reads from it, and, well, all manner of horror ensues. If you've seen Evil Dead, you know what I mean. So let's talk about the pluses. There are actually many more pluses than there are negatives. So as per usual, if you haven't watched my reviews before, then I'm going to just fill you in real briefly. When I review something that is in the low-budget horror, such as House of Wrathiticus, I do give slack in certain areas, because when you have less to work with, you have less to work with. So to me, the closer you get to a high-grade movie, the better, the more impressed I am with your particular film. And House of Wrathiticus is much, much like that. The acting is fine for what it is. Is it the best? Out of the three, I actually considered Kyle's one of the better acting jobs. I felt like it started off fairly slow, but as it went on, he did a really good job with it, especially in things like the dream sequence that you find later on in the movie. The way that was acted and portrayed, I actually got a small, not a scare, but it's really hard to scare me in films these days. Too much desensitization. But I did get a little bit creeped out by it. And that takes something these days. So kudos to everybody involved with that, and the makeup, and the design, and even the camera work at the end of that dream sequence. But I feel like Kyle's acting did kind of bring that home. The monster effects really and truly, that's the height to me of this film. The effects in general. For what they had, it looked excellent. The gory effects looked realistic enough for me to cringe a little bit. I'm not very good with gore, and the fact that they were able to do that showed a lot of work, a lot of talent involved in this. And I really liked the monster designs. The masks were really cool. I could see where the characters were coming from, that this would be something that could lend to professionalism in the future. And of course the main monster I thought was the most stylized. Wrathiticus himself was really cool. I love the bulbous looking hands, and in general it was a really good effects-wise film. And this is not a long film, 26 minutes long, so they managed to pack all of this into the film. As far as other things, I did appreciate the nod to Evil Dead when they were listening to some music during a conversational scene. That particular, I didn't realize it was a nod to Evil Dead. A lot of times when you're working a film that's low budget like this, you can't really afford to pay the royalties much like we do. A lot of our music here is copyright free, so it's either really old music or it's music that they didn't bother to copyright yet. And this is the same thing here. This way they don't have to pay those extra royalties.
Oh, that's fantastic. How do you turn your face so red so fast?
And they were able to do a nod to Evil Dead. At first, when I saw the scene, I was like, why are they listening to this? This doesn't sound right. But I thought of the logistics, and then when I listened to the commentary, it struck home. So, a really nice nod. So with the good comes the bad. Well, I felt like the music was a bit minimalistic. It's not a heavy blow against it. Again, it's what we're working with here. I mean, synthesizers, a few things here and there. It does what it's supposed to do. But again, it's only a small gripe with me. The other, there are a couple of minor slow parts to it. There's not a lot of slowness to this. I'm not even sure that... I feel like that first part at the very beginning might have drug on a little bit longer than it needed to. But again, small gripe in this, because we're working with... the reason why I look at these things timing-wise is we're dealing with 26 minutes for this film. That's not a long time. You gotta fit a lot into that 26 minutes. So any time is just there. This was made a while back. In the commentary they were mentioning Scream 4 was about to come out, so this has been a little while ago. You could tell if you see Kyle now versus how he was then. Much younger looking. So, again, the time-wise, I feel like this was a good run. So, we've talked about the good, and we've talked about the bad. Let's put a number on it. So, with the special features, which I rate fairly highly, it's really good to see a lot of special features on a short film like this. It kind of makes your $10 stretch out. If it was just the film, that would have dragged this down a bit. And the film itself being an excellent short film for horror, I would give this, I would say a 7 out of 10. Really good. Edging on greatness is probably more like a 7.3-ish, but I round down. But an excellent try. Something fun. If you love this type of horror, if you like those that are actually, the lower budget film types, you will like House of Wrathiticus. Well, this has been SeptumSin versus the World, and we'll see you on the next one. Welcome back for this time's YouTube shout-out video. Today we're going to be talking about Cool Duder. I can't believe I have not done a shout-out for this one and the one I'm going to be doing for the next one. Because these two are the two most influential channels for me. Really. I am a collector. You can see. Way back, shoot, it's been a while. 2000, and I was still living in Emporia at the time, so it could have been, well, no, maybe later. It was probably in the around 2009, 2010-ish time period. I was looking hard for movie collectors because I was sitting there, it's like, am I the only one who collects this many? Am I the only one? Is this just a sickness that is just me? And I ran into one which is the world's largest movie collection, and it's just this one little tier bookshelf of DVDs and movies. We still laugh at that one today. We go back to it occasionally. I should do a shout out for their channel. But then I ran across Cool Duder. This is before he lost the weight. He was still doing a lot of skits. And I remember he was working out of his basement in around Ocean City, I believe. And he did some really fun videos. I really enjoyed his skit videos. I enjoyed looking at his pickup videos. I enjoyed all of that. He did these skits with this other YouTuber, with this other individual. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they were really funny skits. He has been in a lot of B movies. The Cool Duder has, and they're also fun when you catch those. It's been one of my hobbies, trying to collect some of these here and there, just to enjoy watching those cameos or particular run-ins. And in general, it was just, this is somebody who does what I do, but he's more in the public spotlight doing this, and that's really cool. I mean, you in a way, you don't feel alone in your hobby. Other people can appreciate the hobby as much as you do. He's been through a lot over the years. He has altered his channel format a bit. He lost a lot of weight. He lost pretty much all of the extra weight that he had carried, and now is very much healthy. I don't know if he's happier, but he's definitely healthier. And he now does a lot of out and about videos, whereas in the past he didn't do as many out and abouts, where he goes around, he picks up these particular films, sees what he wants to buy, shows you what's out during the week, which is, that's enjoyable. The other things, he'll occasionally do skits and like single-time movie reviews, but what he'll typically do on top of that is he'll show some things that he's picked up, some things that have been sent to him to review. He does horror pack reviews. To me, I will admit, I look at these and I try and watch as many as I can, because I want him to be able to make as much money off of me as he can, by getting those view times and those minutes up. I of course, my biggest interest is in what it is that he picks up, or if what he was sent, whether those would be things that he would have picked up anyway. That typically is where my interest does lie. Again, if you have not been introduced to this YouTuber and you like movies, you like that physical media, or even if you like horror, because he does do a general focus on horror, you should be checking out his channel. In any case, this has been SeptumSin versus the World with another YouTube shout out. Take care.